Let's look at doing permissions in the Brick River system. And when I talk about permissions, I'm really talking about permissions for certain views. So in users and groups, just a quick review, obviously you can do email permissions, registration permissions in an easy way, and you can do website permissions. Where it starts to get tricky is with regards to content and contact permissions. So what you do is, you turn on one of the menus. If you want somebody to see content, you turn that menu on. So I've got some person here called some user. And then what you have to do is you have to connect them with a view. But then that's where it gets a little tricky. So you have to define a view. So either, let's say it's a base view that comes as part of the system. It still has to be also defined in your system in order to give somebody access to it. Then the next level up is if you want to do permission views where you want to hide maybe specific fields. So let's look at the case of permissioning a view that's part of the system, and that is going to be events. So I'm in as an administrator, but I can't see events in here. Why is that? Well, because it has not been articulated within the system. So let's go over to views. Here we are in views under admin views, and I do not see that articulated in this system. Now we may change this at some point, but this is how it is right now. So I must at least articulate it. I want to create a new view. I just want to customize an existing view, and I want that to be events. And that's it. Actually, I can just maybe give it a name. Name equals events. Okay, now I save that. So now what I've done is I've kind of put that base view into our system in such a way that I can now access it here. So there it is, events, content. So I've permissioned that for this one particular user. So here I am, I just logged in as that person, some person, and under content events, I can see, I can actually see that. That person can only see that one thing. Okay, let's go next level up. So let's say I want to give this some person access to people under contacts. Well, I would click contacts. But again, I don't see people here. But what I want to do is I don't want to let them see all of the fields within contacts. I only want them to see certain fields. Okay, so that is the case of going to permission views, admin permission views. So I go here. I go new, and then I'm going to pick people. Okay, so here is a way of sort of hiding and showing certain fields. So I have to give this view a purpose. I'm going to say people, but not relationships. Not seeing relationships. Okay, and then I can either assign that to a user or a group, and then you can do that on the flip side too. Meaning if you go into a group or a user, you can choose who can see that, just like we're doing here, right? I can go this way and pick the view, or that I can do it here. So under users, I'm going to pick some person, just for the sake of it. Okay, let's jump to field selection here. So maybe what I want to do is I want to maybe I don't want to allow them to see relationship deals at all, okay? So what I can do is I can just simply remove that. Remove that entire field set, right? And maybe what I also want to do is maybe I just want to give them view rights only over online publishing. They can only view these fields. And they can only view the login fields. Okay, so I've created a little permission there. So in this permission view, I was very specific. Some fields I can edit, some I can't see at all, and some I can only view. But you can also do things on the whole view itself where you override the base permissions, and basically what you can do is you can say the person can only add this. The person can only view this, edit this, or delete. So in this case, we're just using the default permissions. Okay, so now that that is done, that permission view has now been created, and it's been connected to this user called some person. Now, if I log in as some person under BR demo, I can see contacts now, but I can see only that special view. So if I go to this person, I'm able to edit these fields, but remember, we said that login credentials they could only view, so they can only view, and online publishing they can only view. Okay, so this permissions view screen is just a convenient way. It's kind of more of a visual way of editing a view, because really ultimately what happens is we're just creating a view. So underneath this, under views here, you will see that view called people with the purpose of people but not seeing relationships. So if I want to edit that further, I can go either into permission views, or I could actually go directly to the view itself, and you can see what's happening underneath it. Really what's happening is it set the field set relationship deals to command equals remove. Online publishing, this field set's been articulated, but then it set the column friendly to read only equals true. So really it's just editing the view itself. And you have to be careful sometimes about removing something or making something invisible, because sometimes when you remove something but then it's later called for, that can be a problem. So for example, let's say you were to remove the visibility field. Well, that can be a little bit of a problem because in a part of views called filters, that may be used by default. So just be cognizant of that. But that's what's going on with permissions and permission views. Thanks.